of Mombi's House of Marinades. Today we're going to introduce to you one of our marinades. We have liquid marinades and dry rubs. Today I'm working with one of our liquid marinades on a piece of rump steak. This is the char-grilled marinade for rump steak. It has red wine, so we're going to see the effect of the char grilling. Our main ingredients today, we're going to make mashed potatoes. We're working with a stir-fry vegetable with some broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and French beans. And let's see how it's going to turn out. Next, I'll be cutting out little cutlets from the cauliflower and the broccoli. So what we're looking to achieve is something like this, a flower from the broccoli. It's more attractive when you're going to make your final plate. Make sure they are even sizes, each for when you're about to blanch them, which I'll show you later. For one plate, we don't need much. For one portion, I would say 3 little florets from a cauliflower and 3 little florets from a broccoli. Now I'm going to even them out. And then make sure I have all my preparations here on the side, ready for blanching later on. So before I put them in the water, I have to make sure I have all my preparation done and ready. Clean as you go. The first thing you want to achieve when you're about to sear a steak is you have to make sure your pan is extremely hot so you can get an even sear as you place it in the first moment. The goal is to place the steak skin side down first. And as we move along, we can make sure we glaze the other side evenly with some of the marinade. What we're looking for is a golden brown sear on each side. Here, I have placed my water to blanch my vegetables. I have to make sure I evenly salt my water. I'll put about 2 teaspoons of salt. Let it get to an extremely high boil before I place my vegetables inside. As you can see, we have achieved 1, 2, 3 grill marks on the sear. Now we let it sear on the other side. After we have achieved our sear, I'm going to take the steak, place it on an oven tray. Make sure I put off my heat. I come back to the marinade and I evenly glaze upon my steak to make sure it doesn't dry out in the oven. I have preheated my oven to 180 degrees. For a medium rare steak, I will put it in the oven at 180 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes maximum. I make sure I place it at the center of the oven for it to get even heat. To test whether my mashed potatoes are ready, I take a fork. I poke through. If my fork goes all the way through to the potato, they're ready to be mashed for a mashed potato. My potatoes are almost ready. Here I have a chunk of butter that I'm going to cut into small cubes for my mashed potatoes. Then I will take my potatoes, have a look, they're ready. I'm going to strain the water. Make sure it's completely drained of all the water. Place them in a glass bowl. And I'm going to slowly beat my mashed potatoes using this machine. Make sure to beat your mashed potatoes while it's still hot, using little milk. Slowly incorporate the chunks of butter. If you prefer to use cream, you're more than welcome to. As you can see, slowly but surely my mashed potato is becoming smooth. This is due to the milk and due to the butter. Make sure not to overbeat your mashed potatoes. You're looking for a smooth texture, such as so. Definitely not least, we're going to blanch our vegetables. Whereas the process of blanching is, you make sure you have a pot of hot boiling water. Make sure it's salted, well seasoned, enough to taste the salt. We're going to start with the carrots because they take longer. Blanch them for a few seconds. Then the French beans. Then the cauliflower. Then the broccoli. Our mashed potatoes, to complete it, we'll make sure we have to season it with a little salt. Make sure the salt is enough. Our vegetables are now done blanching, so what we're going to do, take them, strain them, and run some cold water through them to make sure the cooking process stops. Ready and waiting for my stir-fried vegetables. I will use some butter to achieve flavor. Here are my blanched vegetables that I'm going to place in here. Toss for a few seconds to give it a crunchy effect. Our sauce is nicely reducing and getting thick, as you can see. I'm going to let the butter melt and get hot. Our steak is now past the 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to take it out. The best thing to do, before serving a steak, always it has to rest for a few minutes. We have our hot butter ready and waiting for our vegetables. As they sear, seasoning is always our ultimate priority. A little bit of salt and a nice toss. Here I have a piping bag. I'm going to fill some of my mashed potatoes into it for later. Our vegetables are nicely getting crispy. You can go ahead and try just to make sure it has enough seasoning and that you've attained the correct amount of crispy. They shouldn't take too long in the pan so you don't kill the crispiness of the vegetables, and you want a nice crunch. And as you remember, previously we had already blanched them, so they're pre-cooked. Now we're going to plate our plate. I'm going to take a portion of my mashed potatoes, place it in the center. I'm going to use an ordinary glass to make an imprint. I'm going to take my vegetables, randomly place them around. I won't use all of them because then it will be too much. Fresh beans along the mashed potato. Take some of the marinade that I reduced, drizzle along. And then I'm going to take my steak and cut it diagonally to make it easier for the customer and for presentation purposes. As you can see here, we have achieved an excellent medium rare. I'm going to take my plate and align my steak right in the center. Take some more sauce, some of the marinade that I reduced, and drizzle along. Here we can add some more vegetable if you feel the need to, just for visibility purposes. You can always add a bit more on the sides. This is what I have used today. This one particularly has wine, and it's a mix of different flavors to obtain a charred effect on your meat. This is a basic beef steak marinade composed of lemon and herbs mostly. And for our fans of smoking and grilling meat, here we have our dry rubs. Oh, hi! I hope you enjoyed our video. Please, if you did, make sure you click below, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.